And I'm going to go through what I expect and work through some of these problems so that you understand how much you really have learned so far about slope and slope-intercept form and standard form and graphing lines and etc. So let's look at the top row, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And as I read through them, I will write some notes on the sheet to kind of explain how to work these. The first one under Monday says write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form that has a slope of 1 and a y-intercept of 1. So how I would go about writing that equation, what I first would do is write down the slope-intercept form. And m in this equation stands for slope. That's where we put the slope. And the b is the y-intercept. So all I do is plop these two numbers into this formula for slope and y-intercept, and I have written the equation in slope-intercept form. The only thing I would do is simplify this by getting rid of the 1 right here, because it's invisible, and rewriting it as y equals x plus 1. That is the answer to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form that has a slope of 1 and a y-intercept of b. Okay, so let's go across to Tuesday. Write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. This time they don't give you the slope, but they do give you a graph of a line, and you can see where the line crosses the y-axis. If you look closely, it's right here. Okay, so that is at 3, so that's at 0, 3. That's the y-intercept is 3, so we have the b. Hold that in your head. We've got the b. Now we need the slope of this line. Okay, so to calculate the slope, I'm going to look for another point where this graphed line crosses the grid where the grid intersects. And there are a couple. I see a couple of them, one here and one here. So like we've learned, you can use movement, the rise over run, to calculate your slope. So the rise and then the run, which would be 1 over 3. So the slope here, the m, is 1/3. And if I look at that line, I do see it has a positive slope. So now I'm going to take these two bits of information and plug them into this formula. So I'm going to write y equals 1/3 x plus 3. And that would be your answer. There you go. All right, so let's move on to Wednesday. Write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form that has a slope of 1/2. Ooh, they gave us that. And it goes through this point right here, or contains that point. So they also gave you an x value and a y value. So I can take the slope. I'm going to write the equation. Y equals 1/2 x plus b. We don't have the b. We don't know where this line crosses the y-axis yet. The only thing we know is it goes through this point. So I'm going to plug into this equation. I'm going to substitute in my x value and my y value. So watch what happens. So 1 equals 1/2 times -4 plus b. Now, you can do the multiplication of the fraction times -4 in your calculator, which is going to give you -2 plus b. The b is what we're trying to solve for. So in order to get the b by itself, I have to add 2 to both sides. So the b equals 3. And the slope is 1/2. So now we can write our equation in slope-intercept form with this slope, and here's the b. So I'm going to write it right here. It's going to be y equals 1/2 x plus 3, because the 3 is positive, and that's the answer. All right, let's go across to Thursday. write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form that has this point and this point. So we need two things to write that equation. We need the slope and we need the b. Well, we can calculate the slope from 2 points by using the slope formula. So let's go ahead and label these and put them in the slope formula, which will be -1 minus 1, and then it'll be -5 take away 0. So it's -2 over -5, which becomes 2/5. It's positive. When you have a negative divided by a negative, you become positive. So there's your slope. So now that we have the slope, we also have an x and y value. We're going to do what we did on this day, and we're going to plug into the formula. So the formula is y equals slope times x plus b. So the y is 1, the slope is 2/5, the x is 0 plus b. Anything times 0 is 0, so we get rid of that. So the b equals 1. Now we have our two ingredients to write the equation. We have the m and the b. So to write this equation, it would be y equals 2/5 x plus 1. There you go. Okay. There's your top row. As you can see, I asked you to do the Monday problems on Monday, the Tuesday problems on Tuesday, but I do have the key posted on Tuesday, so if you want to work all these, then you can work them and check your work, okay? So let me pick out another one. Let's look at Tuesday, the second one right here. Okay, I'm going to focus on that one. In the graph above, so they're referring to the graph above, which is the one where we wrote the equation of the line. They ask you, shift the function, because it's a linear function, up 13 units. What is the equation of the new function? Well, the slope doesn't change at all. So we leave the slope 1/3 x. 1/3 is the slope. The only thing that changes is the y, where this line crosses the y-axis, goes up 13. So we add 3 plus 13 and we get a positive 16. We just rewrote this linear function by shifting the original up